The holiday season is one of the happiest times on our homestead. It starts with Halloween and goes through the new year. Each part of these months feels special as the air gets cooler, the days get shorter, and the house begins to feel a little bit more cozy each time. One of our favorite things to do for each season is to decorate. We love using items that we grow or make ourselves. It feels simple and real and brings a little extra joy into our homestead. During the fall, pumpkins take over every corner of our homestead. They line the porch, fill the garden beds, sit on the tables. It is a bit of a chore to clear them out after Thanksgiving, but we love knowing they will not go to waste. They become food for our chickens through the winter, and the flock is very happy about that. But we know as soon as those pumpkins are cleared out, there's a shift, and it's finally time to welcome Christmas. One of our favorite treats in the winter is fresh oranges. Every year we try to buy a big box from our local FFA or for friends who live down south. There is just something about opening that box and seeing all those bright oranges that make it feel like Christmas. Oranges have always been a holiday tradition for us. On Christmas morning as children, we would find one tucked inside our stocking, and that's a tradition we carry on in our own homestead. The sweet smell alone brings back so many memories. And this year we wanted to add a bit more color to our simple Christmas decor, so we decided to use dehydrated oranges. Dehydrating oranges is very easy. All you do is slice them up into even rounds, lay them in your dehydrator, making sure they don't touch, set your dehydrator for around 135 degrees, and let them dry for several hours. Now, while the oranges dry, we turn our focus to decorating the homestead. For us, Christmas decor is all about simplicity and meaning and tradition. We personally like to use evergreen boughs because they're going to bring a lot of life and color into our homestead when everything outside is feeling cold and bleak and not necessarily as beautiful as we love in the spring and summer. It would be wonderful if we could gather fresh evergreens and hang them in our home every year, but in our area, that's really not a possibility. Yes, we could go out and purchase them, but they are quite expensive. And so we do have artificial evergreens and artificial trees, but they still bring a lot of beauty. And it's also a way that we can save money on the homestead because we can reuse these year after year after year. Our evergreen garland is going to go across our main windows. It goes across our doorway and across our mantle. This helps everything to brighten up the space and gives a soft, warm feeling in our big living room area. Along with the evergreens, we like to decorate our homestead in a real simple way with our favorite family memories and favorite family heirlooms. Every item that we put out holds a memory and has a reason to be displayed. Maybe it's an ornament that someone received as a child or that they were given as a gift. It could be a part of a nativity set or a small craft or something small that the kids made over the years. But each of these items holds a memory and gives our family the opportunity to talk about those traditions and those memories as we're decorating. I love when my kids get so excited and they're like, do you remember this or do you remember that? That's a big part of why we celebrate Christmas, because everything that we do is pointing back to our family and pointing back to the reason for this season, which is our Savior Jesus Christ and his birth. And that brings us so much peace, and it helps to really focus our attention during the holiday season. Now, for this orange garland, we are going to take the oranges out of the dehydrator and we're going to check them to make sure that they are nice and dry. If they are not dry yet, we will put them back in the dehydrator. Now, I find if I do a lower temperature like 135, I'm going to need to dehydrate it for several hours, like 5, 6, 7, 8 hours perhaps. If I am willing to go a little bit higher and do it at like 165, I can get those oranges dehydrated in less time, but sometimes browning will occur. So you just have to be careful. Now, if you don't have a dehydrator, you can do it in your oven. Same thing, go down to like 170 degrees in your oven and let them cook for a couple of hours, making sure you check on them. You might have to flip them in your oven just to make sure that they're not wet on one side and dry on the other. To make the garland, all you're going to need is a needle and some strong thread. I gently weave the needle through one side of the orange and down through the other side. I leave about an inch between where I poke my needle, and I like to do it at the top of the orange and not in the middle so that the orange can't rotate. But once it is all threaded, you will have your garland. Now, you will need to anchor your garland somehow. I like to anchor it to the surface that my evergreens are on. Sometimes you can actually anchor it to your evergreens if they're nice and sturdy. But I use a piece of tape or a command hook, and I'll anchor one side of the orange garland and then anchor the other side. And then I can kind of distribute my oranges evenly through my evergreens. You could also hang your oranges from the mantle or from the window or whatever, just in that garland shape, and that's really fun as well. Now, if you don't just want orange as your color, you can also weave and thread popcorn, cranberries, even cinnamon sticks. We like to add pine cones into our evergreens and our oranges. It just adds a little bit more texture, a little more depth, and they have that wintry feel to them. When all the garlands are hung and the last touches are added, that is the moment that it finally feels like winter on the homestead and the Christmas season. The house is ready, we can relax, enjoy our family time, and wait for that first snowfall to blanket everything in white. Christmas is here, and the homestead feels peaceful once again. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.